Conor and I just
Conor Benn signs for Zuffa. Officially, apparently, for the second time, because we've seen this handshake before a few months ago. But apparently, the fight against Regis Prograis wasn't a Zuffa bout. All right. So, officially, 2.5 year deal. They're going to try and squeeze 5 fights out of Conor Benn. That's the word. I'm going to show you a video in a minute of Dana White telling us the sort of structure he's got. When you say who is fighting, loads of people, they've got everyone in sight. Rolly Romero, Garcia, Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, he could fight anyone, but they don't know who he's going to fight yet. But he's officially signed for Zuffa, 2.5 year deal. Let's hear what Conor Benn has got to say quickly, and Dana White, and I'll recap and come back to it.
Some of the names that are flying around out there, if it wasn't to be Ryan Garcia, you mentioned those other options. Teofimo Lopez was there. I know you shared a moment where he made no secret that he would fight you. Shakur Stevenson, another, and Rolly Romero. Would you say that we've probably found your next opponent, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur, or Rolly?
I would tune in. I'd rather tune in to watch Jake Paul fight than watch Shakur fight. Any day of the week. Rolly can get it. I like Rolly, but he can get it next. Tio, I like Tio. He's my guy. But for me, Ryan is the guy that we want. But if Ryan, for some reason, doesn't happen, then there are plenty of names that we can get into. What do the public want?
Yeah, multi-year deal. I've seen it announced there. So what does that actually entail, if I'm allowed to ask?
yeah, it's a 2.5 year deal, 5 fights.
So I suppose the big question is what next for Conor Benn? He made it clear to us, and I think the whole world can see, there's no shortage of options. If you had your way, I'm sure you're all going to sit down there around the table and thrash out plans. But what would your message be to him? What sort of route do you want to take him?
Listen, all the guys that signed with us, what have you, what have you dreamed about? What did you want to do? What are your plans with your career? We'd like to hear all those things. And obviously, I'm about making the biggest fight you can possibly make. And all these kids that are signing with us, they feel the same way.
So, there you have it. Dana White saying it himself, 2.5 year deal. They're not saying how much money it is. Obviously, it's going to be quite a bit. But it's over to Eddie Hearn now, because obviously he's on the phone to the lawyers saying, let's look into this fight and see how this contract went. Did they actually pay Conor Benn 15 mil for one fight? Because they reckon you're not going to pay Conor Benn 15 mil for that one fight against Regis Prograis. This was quite instant, the way they moved with Zuffa. It was like it was already planned. Conor Benn was meant to be a free agent after a Regis Prograis fight. How many people have you spoke to? You must be hot property right there, right? Instantly, he signed with Zuffa. Make of that what you will. Obviously, they've got the money over there with Turki Al-Sheikh anyway. But who are they going to get to fight with this guy now? Because everyone else is with a sanctioning body. WBC, WBO. So, Zuffa, how are you going to get these fights on? And with the last little thing that we heard with Saudis, they're sort of trying to hold back with certain big fights at the moment. Well, they will be doing big fights, but they're not going to be trying to flash the money about too much. They're trying to withdraw from that a little bit. Zuffa has got money. TKO, of course, they have. But who are they going to get to fight Conor Benn? 2.5 year deal. So I'm thinking they're trying to fight every 6 months. But after the 2.5-year deal, I do believe it's done. Whether you get 4 fights out of him, 5, 3, I think that's how it's gonna run. You know. But yeah, we heard Conor Benn, we heard Dana. They don't know who they're gonna fight. They've got everyone in sight, but no one in particular, because you've spoke to nobody. So they've just signed Conor Benn, and obviously they're trying to push the Zuffa brand. Plus they've got the Sky Sports still in England as well, which Conor Benn can kind of flagship for a little bit. Obviously he's quite popular in England, so that will get some of his fights. Obviously all their fights are going to be on Sky Sports anyway, so they will brand it like that as well for the next 2.5 years. But who does Conor Benn fight? You know, Zuffa hasn't really got too many good welterweights, not that I know of. Or even the 154 weight is not right now. Not what they have, but not too many great ones for the sort of money that you've probably signed Conor Benn for. Because he wants to probably buy a couple more Porsches and Ferraris. You know, he bought 2 the other day with the big 15 mil pay wages he got. You know, so Conor Benn officially with Zuffa, 2.5-year deal. Who is Zuffa going to sign next? They've got a few other people in the books, but this is their highlight at the moment, Conor Benn. Even though I don't think he's that great. He's just Nigel Benn's son to me. You know what I mean? But Zuffa making moves still, man. I heard they're going to try and sign Devin Haney as well. I did hear a little rumour about that. So look out for that as well. They might get Devin Haney, which will be another good signing, you know. And they might try and get them 2 in the ring, because he reckons he wants everyone, Conor Benn. You know, he's unstoppable at the moment, apparently, you know. But I think Devin Haney does him. And I think Ryan Garcia does him, if Ryan Garcia's head's right, at least. Shakur Stevenson, yeah, I think he does him as well. Teofimo, I don't know. They might have a little scrap. Teofimo, I'm not sure. But what Teofimo was 140. So is Shakur Stevenson. So I don't know. I don't think they're coming up to 147 right now, especially Shakur Stevenson. I don't see him up there right now. Ryan Garcia, but that's a WBC bout. You've got to speak to Sullivan for that. And I don't know what's happening with the Zuffa situation with all the sanctioning bodies. So it's techie. So we're going to see how it goes, all right? But Conor Benn signed for Zuffa, 2.5 years. Trying to get 5 fights out of him in that time. You'll see how it goes. Thanks for joining me in Goonies in Sport. Remember to like, subscribe and share. And I'll see you next time.